Wait a second. Welcome into the Fantasy Football Speakeasy here on the WARZONE Sports Network. And we're talking trade deadlines, trades that might help you win. Do you want to live in a Van Jefferson down by the river for fantasy season? Then why?
The WARZONE Sports Network presents the Fantasy Football Speakeasy. Stay tuned and never miss out.
Oh, we already messed it up, Mike.
Salt Bay back at it again.
Dumping fish food on the floor. That's what we do here. Welcome in to the Speakeasy, the fantasy football show that we do on Saturday. On Sunday, we do the wake-up call, getting ready for Sunday's action. Join us there. It starts at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 Eastern. But firstly, I want to get into... Firstly, is that not a word?
I don't think so, but we'll roll with it.
Somebody Google firstly. I feel like firstly is a word. Anyways, I want to get into the depth chart of the Los Angeles Rams. Whose house? OBJ's house. Like, what a move that this... Like, originally when this was made, I was joking about how, like, OBJ was going to get lost behind Tutu Atwell. And I love Robert Woods. He's one of my favorite underrated wide receivers in the NFL. So I'm bummed for him. The injuries continue to stack up. They're like, oh, Cam Akers is flirting with a return. I'm like, bro, you busted your Achilles. Like, just take some time off. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. But OBJ, Tony can't speak. Come, we've been on the air together, brother. You ain't got to lie to the people.
Actually, it's a word. I looked it up. It is a word.
Of course it's a word. Otherwise, I wouldn't have used it.
All right.
I'm extremely articulate. Yeah. Go ahead. Tony take illegal substances.
In fantasy football.
Only in his hair. Only in that hair.
Getting on somewhat of a track here. Are you... So I believe that Van Jefferson becomes even better, right? Knows the system, he's in there, whatever it is. But to me, this makes it's a much clearer picture now. Like if OBJ slots into where Robert Woods was and Van Jefferson stays there, but can stay there. What do you guys think of all of this? I know, Joe, we'll start with you. You're crushed because you love Robert Woods.
Well, yeah, I think for the last 2 weeks, I've been talking about how I was thinking Robert Woods was going to come back strong in the second half of the season. And then, I think this is a big loss to the Rams as well. And if you're a Cooper Kupp holder and you have what they call stock in Cooper Kupp, you have to be worried too. I know they're getting Odell Beckham. I know Van Jefferson's doing his thing, but this is going to make it easier on a couple of defenses, right? To just come up on Cooper Kupp, and we'll see if Odell and Van Jefferson can do what they want, and we'll leave them open. I don't know. I'm worried, but I'm kind of crushed. I had big hopes for Robert Woods. I'm glad I didn't pull the trigger on some of the trades that were offered to me with Robert Woods, but I'm upset. I like Robert Woods.
It's a bummer, man. It's a bummer for Robert Woods because him and Kupp are having a good year together this year. Robert Woods is kind of having a normal year for what he normally does, but he's been the model of consistency. He never gets brought up enough with names like Mike Evans, who comes out and puts 1,000 up every year. Names like Keenan Allen, who comes up and puts 100 catches up every year. Robert Woods is going to give you what you expect out of Robert Woods almost every single game, week in, week out. So it's a bummer for him. But for the other Rams wide receivers, like you said, Tony, Jefferson goes up. Odell goes up. Even Tutu Atwell goes up a little bit if things really go into the depth. The move makes a lot more sense to grab Odell for sure now. This team loves to run those three wide receivers, super spread out sets. And Odell's going to be involved in that now a lot more than he was before. I was going to put out a video. It is recorded in my drafts right now and how that was a bad move for Odell's career because he's not going to see the field that much because I really do believe Van Jefferson is that good. But now he's going to get on the field. And he's going to be on a Super Bowl contender on the field.
Well, because one of the things that I was wondering, when you watch it, they run those stacks where it's like they had Van Jefferson either above or below Cooper Kupp on the same side, and Van was getting a lot of love because he was the second read if Kupp wasn't open. And I was wondering, like, do they keep Van Jefferson in that so that he still has his value there? Like, are they now going to put OBJ sort of on that opposite side where Woods was, or does Woods go on the same side as Cooper Kupp? It adds a lot of clarity to a situation that to me was I just didn't understand what exactly was going to happen and why OBJ. But maybe the Rams knew there was an issue, and they were able to get. I don't even want to say a deal on OBJ, but he's getting money, and if they win games, obviously he can make even more money. So I think it's good for everybody's fantasy situation. We're talking trades and players to target at the deadline, and some of the players on my list are probably on waivers. Like, you could probably just add them, but I think that they have decent playoff schedules, and if you have a team that can be looking that far ahead, good for you. Where you can start to be like, oh, I got an extra bench spot. I'm going to put that quarterback there because my quarterback has a less than desirable matchup, or I have a running back that has a less than desirable matchup. So I'm just going to go ahead and, trade for somebody who has a couple of good weeks when it comes to the postseason time.
Yeah, names that come to mind. Your Cam Newtons, your Adrian Petersons. These guys are getting added late. Those are the guys that you can kind of just stash if you have a super team already.
Yeah, would it be so nice to have one of these super teams?
Does the Robert Woods injury help Darrell Henderson?
I think lateral, maybe a little bit. Maybe they got to lean on the run a little bit more, but Cooper Kupp is amazing, man. I know that they trust just going to him more if they need to.
But do you understand where I'm saying? Like, if I'm a defensive coordinator and now I don't have to worry about Robert Woods.
That's true. Yeah.
And I'm going to come up on Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
And I'm going to double Cooper Kupp. Odell Beckham is good, and we know he's capable of doing some stuff. But what has he shown us the last couple of years? Nothing really, right? So until he starts showing me something, I'm just going to leave him single coverage or do what I need to do. But are you going to focus your defense on somebody else and wait till the Van Jeffersons and OBJ beat you? I understand picking those guys up because they are going to get more targets. Their targets are going to – the Van Jefferson and OBJ are going to get targets. But what are they going to do with it? And overall, is it hurting or helping the Rams?
Yeah, Odell's performance went from a luxury for them to very important now. They need him to come out and show out.
Here's the thing, is I think that Odell is comparable to Robert Woods now. Like the Odell 4 years ago, where they're like, oh, you're not getting Odell from 4 years ago. But I think you're still getting somebody who can do all the things that Robert Woods is doing now from OBJ. So I think it feels like a lateral move. I don't think you run the ball anymore. Like, this doesn't make Darrell Henderson better. It doesn't make your offense better. The real question to me is the health of Matthew Stafford, because they're saying he's dealing with a back injury, right? That, to me, the health of Stafford is, if he's not healthy, we could see more in the run game with Michelle and Henderson as moving forward. But that's the only thing I think that hurts it there. Like, OBJ and Robert Woods, they're pretty much similar players at this point in their careers.
I hope that this tag joke confuses people and they actually think I like Drew Lock.
Anyways, or they have an OnlyFans account with Drew Lock.
I didn't know that.
That's where I thought he was going with that.
I don't know. Either way,
position.
I know we're talking just fantasy. I know it's just a fantasy show, but I mean, looking at the Rams, I think it affects everybody on that team and fantasy wise, from Matthew Stafford to Darrell Henderson to Cooper Kupp. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it picks Cooper Kupp up even more, and his amazing season goes to even better, right? I don't know how much better you can get, but maybe it does. I don't know. I'm just not big on the Odell thing. I don't know how much Odell is really gonna take off in there. I hope he does, but I'm not holding.
There was some interesting comments from former Ram John Johnson, I believe, who's now on the Browns, and he said, "Oh, that's interesting that he picked the Rams because that offense runs through Cooper Kupp." He's like, So he could have picked another destination. But they also said that OBJ talked to the receiver group. I just have a hard time believing, depending on when this injury was, that OBJ didn't know that there was going to be an opportunity for those 8 targets a game that Robert Woods was getting. Like, otherwise, why would he sign there?
Yeah.
I don't get why he went there either. Green Bay would have been the better choice in my opinion, but it is what it is.
Yeah. And it's not about the money. Everybody goes, oh, well, the Rams offered him an extra potential $3 million. Dude gets more money doing Head and Shoulders commercials than he does doing that. Like, he literally could go and do an ad for hair cream or something and get more money than he's going to get potentially make with the Rams. So I don't think that it's a money-based thing for him to make that extra. I think he wants a chance to win, and the Rams give him that shot.
I'm actually working on a side business on the side for hair cream, Tony, and I need a guy to kind of be the face of it. Odell's first on my list, but you want to be like second just in case he says no?
I'm getting a haircut soon. I can't deal with this. It's just too much. I'm tired of it. I need to go bald. I'm going more of a Morley
See this?
route.
This is my business going down the drain.
Yeah. I need a haircut.
You know what? You wake up and go, Tony, and you get this look right here.
Tell your friends. We have Sam Levine's comment here. What's going on?
I don't know. It just randomly happens to echo. I haven't moved.
Okay. Are we back?
We're back.
Are we better?
We're live. We're doing
Sam
great.
Levine's comment. Pittman of McLaurin. All right. I'm assuming this is Pittman or McLaurin. Because it's not of the famous Pittmans of the McLaurins. I don't know. This is tough. To me, this is like the same thing. But if I had to go with one, I'm going with Terry McLaurin because that's who I picked at the beginning of the year to just be outstanding. And I think there's real potential matchups, like opportunities for him at the end of the year to stack up some big numbers. As to where the Colts maybe not as much. And then if T.Y. Hilton gets back in there, like I'm not afraid of more the guy they got from Carolina, Samuels.
Curtis Samuel.
Stealing. Yeah, I'm not afraid of Logan Thomas stealing. Like McLaurin is by far going to be getting all he can handle in that offense.
Like you were saying, fantasy-wise, they're super even, and usually when they're super even like that, I go to who I think the better player is, and that's McLaurin.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with too. So Sam, Terry McLaurin, but it's close. I think whoever has whatever side you have, you're a winner.
Yeah.
Joe,
No, I like Terry McLaurin, but I don't think you can go wrong with either one.
Yeah, it feels pretty even there. Well, you want to get into
let's get into
some of these
show.
Trades, some of these targets, some of this whatever.
Yeah,
let's do it. You want to go tight ends first? Oh, by the way, Joe doesn't have any graphics in this because when he sent his list into me, it all was the exact same as mine, which was crazy. He just agrees with me on everything. So, Joe, you're just going to chime in on Tony's.
The comment from Same Old Sports there, I did think there was a Los Angeles element to it when we were talking about where he was going before. He loves LA. He wants to be and play in LA.
Who doesn't love LA?
I don't love it.
They wrote a song about loving LA.
I want to move to Bakersfield.
I love LA. Damian Harris, they just notified, has been ruled out due to a concussion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I went and picked up JJ Taylor in a league. I told you at some point, Joe Morley, JJ Taylor was going to have a week where he was fantasy relevant.
Brendan Bolden is in all my lineups already.
Yeah, I have Bolden.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
I have Bolden in a couple lines. Bolden is playing Mike on the mic in the Warzone of attrition this week, hoping for 20 points.
I got to go and drop him in all those other leagues. Damn it. Can't root for him and against him. I never can. Anyways, I'll just take the L's and all the other ones because I want to win this one more.
Right. Where are we starting?
Tight ends. I'll go first.
Tight ends. Mike
even,
always starts from the wrong end.
What the? Was that a reference, Tony? Damn.
No, that was not a you.
It
That was
worked
not
out.
euphemistic.
It worked.
Jared Cook.
Yeah.
Jared Cook. Because I think that the Chargers offense is going to continue to air this thing out. You saw them open it up a little bit more from what they were doing before against the Eagles, and Jared Cook is becoming a target for Justin Herbert, a guy he likes to go to in the red zone, especially. He's a low-end guy that you probably can get for a little bit cheaper. And the guy I got in the middle, and the one that I hope you guys all stash because it's going to be hard to get via trade now, but if you can send a packaging because you have depth and you really are hurting at tight end, do it, is George Kittle. I think he's going off for the rest of the year, 20 points every fantasy game. This could age poorly this week, but 20 points every fantasy game for Kittle. He rested. He got healthy. In the beginning of the season when he was struggling, he was playing through injury. And when they came out with the news, it came out kind of like he probably should have been on injured reserve this entire time, and they just tried their best to get him out there. Now he's healthy. He's going to be back to what he was in previous years, and I'm very, very confident. I stashed him in 3 leagues and had him come back and drop 20 in all 3 of those leagues this week, which was a lot of fun. And then Noah Fant. I've always been a big Noah Fant fan. We all talked about Noah Fant in the preseason and also talking about possible Aaron Rodgers going to Denver and helping out Noah Fant's production a ton. I think Noah Fant's going to continue to be that guy that's right on the edge of top 10. You could probably get him pretty cheap with how injured he's been a little bit this year and COVID and all kinds of stuff's been going on with him. So I like these 3 guys as trade targets at the tight end position.
I like because I did my list based on schedule, so just going like the players I picked. But I do like Fant's schedule. He's got starting in week 13, Kansas City, then Detroit, Cincinnati, Las Vegas, and the Chargers for through week 17. If you play into week 18, KC. So like I like all of those matchups for him too. Especially in some of these games potentially being shootouts with like Vegas, the Chargers, and Kansas City, and even Cincinnati. So a couple of home games in Denver, weeks 14 and 15. I like that. I also like Kittle's playoff schedule too. I think it works nicely for him.
Kittle. Every year, there's those guys that get hurt early in the season, and I just kind of pick a few and just try and acquire a few that I can just stash in my IR. Because I know they're going to come back with fresh legs for the playoff push. And if I can just get my team into the playoffs, once those guys, and I'm going to talk about him more later, David Montgomery's, George Kittle's come back, like that can be your championship winning player.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing is if somebody hung on to Kittle for this long and he's finally back and he had that game, I think it's going to be hard to pry him away. I think you have a better chance of paying less. Like you could go, if you're stacked at receiver, you might be able to get Noah Fant for Van Jefferson, as we were talking about earlier. And, a player that you picked up off of waivers, but you already have your 3 playoff receivers, but your tight end situation might be, a little bit more shaky. And I think you could have Fant as an upgrade at that position.
No Fant, baby. And here's yours, Tony.
And I, of course, agree with all 3.
Yeah, that's what he said when he sent the list, too.
Yeah.
All right. For mine, I got Pat Freiermuth. He is become Ben's favorite target, especially in the red zone. He's big. He's in the middle of the field, and Ben is looking to get rid of the football. He can't move, and he does not want to take these monstrous hits anymore. So you look for big Pat Freiermuth there. Logan Thomas is one of those players, like Mike said, who's been out, who's going to be healthy, might not be playing this week, but eventually he's going to get there. And the Washington team is going to fight to the bitter end. They're not going to win. They're not doing crap. They're not going to get me my 10-win projection that I predicted at the beginning of the year, but I'm fine with that. I like targeting Logan Thomas. And then I love Goddard based on his schedule. He gets 2 games in your playoff schedule against the Washington football team, which has been horrendously bad against the pass this year. Now, I know that Jalen Hurts isn't necessarily the quarterback you want slinging the ball in that situation, but here's two possibilities for that. One, the Eagles are such a horrible organization that they actually say, hey, we traded for Gardner Minshew. Let's see him. He's better at throwing the football than Minshew is. And the strength of the Washington football team defense is their front, is running against them. So maybe they need to pass in those 2 meetings, and Dallas Goedert is a good tight end for, fantasy purposes into your playoffs. So I think it's worth looking to see if somebody's willing to part with Dallas Goedert.
I like the Logan Thomas. I like the Logan Thomas because he was one of the main targets in that before he got hurt, in that offense before he got hurt. And why wouldn't he just come right back into it? So I like it. I think that's somebody that you can get low right now.
Get low.
Yes,
Well, also
sir.
so Logan Thomas's other matchup squeezed in between 2 matchups with Philly is Dallas. And the linebackers there can't cover. Like, they're young. They're all looking around, like not sure where to go. I think that's another opportunity for him to have 3 really good playoff weeks. So I like Goddard and Thomas, and Freiermuth might be on your waiver wire.
Yeah,
Maybe. Yeah. If you're a dynasty league, man, put stars next to Freiermuth. Go and get Freiermuth right now. Right now, if it's dynasty, this dude is going to be a baller. I think. I really
right now.
Go send the offers in if you're in dynasty leagues for Freiermuth.
How do you spell that?
I agree.
They're
It's
gonna
FREIERMUTH.
Start with Pat. I think if you type Pat space, it'll probably come up.
Somebody already has him. I have to trade for him, but we'll do it later. Thanks.
Exactly. Go and trade for him. They're going to be a ground and pound offense, but off the play action, it's going to be Freiermuth. I like him better than all these tight ends they've been using over the last couple of years and using effectively, and Jesse James and Eric Ebron and all these guys. Muth is going to be the dude. RBs, Tony. Here's my running backs. Target via trade. We talked about David Montgomery there in the middle. He won a lot of people leagues last year. I think he's on track to do it again. I was a little bit worried about Khalil Herbert kind of taking a little bit of shine from him and getting close to a split. But after that first game, even Monty not at 100%, they gave him 15 carries, and they had confidence in him. He was in on a lot of those pass plays, in pass blocking and doing everything. So he's going to be back, I think, and he's going to be the feature of this offense again once he gets back out there. Well, him and Fields, of course, going back and forth. And that can be fun, and that can be effective and help the running back out a little bit, that the QB has a threat to run also. So they're kind of focusing a little bit more on trying to stop Fields than Monty a little bit. That'll help out. And then we got the 2 North Carolina running backs behind him. I love Michael Carter. I think that his ceiling is 30 points every single week once the Jets get into garbage time and they start throwing the ball around. There was a couple weeks ago where he had 8 receptions, and he also had like 17 carries or something, and that's the week he did score 30 points. And then Javonte Williams. We've been saying it all year. He broke out last game. He had the 100 yards, but he had less carries than Melvin Gordon still. That cannot continue. The Broncos have to know what they have. Wearing number 33 on their team, you probably can go get him maybe after this week when they don't give him enough carries again. But I think late in the season, or if something happens to Melvin Gordon, knock on wood, don't want to see him get hurt, Javonte Williams is going to be a monster. And I think next year, Javonte Williams might be a top 5 RB. That's how good this kid is. That guy is amazing.
I love it. Some people drafted him in Dynasty. They're very smart.
Very smart, those guys. But then they're going to cut their hair and ruin my commercials.
Well, Javonte Williams has been that guy. And, like, if you were looking to draft him earlier, like before the season when you drafted and we went to the draft and you took him, you knew that he was more of a breakout candidate later on. And you knew looking at the Broncos schedule that he should break out towards the end of the season. And that's why we considered him a league winner towards the end. Michael Carter, we thought was going to have the role early. And some people drafted him. I have him on my fantasy team. And like you said, Mike, the Jets finally, after their bye week, they finally go, hey, we're giving Michael Carter the ball. Mm-hmm. And it's working out great for him. Javonte Williams, I don't know. It makes him – I know how much you love Melvin Gordon, and I know how much it means to you when he scores his touchdown, but that pisses me off. Do we need to start the hashtag of free Javonte Williams?
We'll start
free
that.
Javonte.
He's going to get it. I think they're actually being smart about it in the long term. They know they're not going to win anything this year. So long term, they're saving his legs a little bit. But I think towards the end of the year, he's forcing his way into that, man. He's so good. He's forcing his way in. And Fanny Pack Fangio, you want to save your job, a nice little 3-game winning streak to close the season would do that. And Javonte is your key to that.
Yeah, especially I think one of those games is against the Chargers. So great opportunity to run the football there. The hashtag needs to be like free JW or free JV. Like, I don't want people trying to spell Javon because then it'll be all over
They're
the
all
place. So
gonna
it's got to be
mess it up.
free JW or free JV. One of
It's
those
all
two
gonna get messed up.
needs to be there. Kenyon Drake makes my list, partially based on playoff schedule, but also just based on the continued usage since the special teams guy took over there for you guys, Joe, and the lack of pass catchers. I don't think Deshaun Jackson changes much for that team other than a legit stretch the field option. We already talked about Montgomery, but also has a nice playoff schedule. And check in with the Saquon Barkley. Like, if you have the opportunity to add Saquon to your team, like somebody who's frustrated, they've potentially been losing a lot because they had Saquon, and maybe they need somebody that's going to get them there. Saquon might be able to give you a couple of healthy games at the end of the year, and you might not have to give up like a ton to get him. If you are willing to part, with sort of like a middle of the road guy or a fill-in, or maybe like packaging Mark Ingram and a receiver to the guy who has, or the manager who has Saquon Barkley. So I think those are people that I've sent out a couple of trades for, and I would definitely listen in the leagues where I have Saquon Barkley. If somebody was like, "Hey, your team's in the middle of the pack right now. You're 4-5, 5-4 in a couple of these leagues. What do you want for Saquon Barkley?" And it's like, not a lot. I need people who can play and who are going to get touches and whatever, because I need to make the playoffs. And I have Barkley in 2 leagues, and I am 4-5 in both of those leagues.
Wow.
Is one of them one that I play in with you?
No, it's definitely not. In one of the leagues, I'm 4-5, and I have Barkley and Montgomery on the same team. I'm trying to tread water to get both of them back healthy. Without Eckler and Mike Evans, that team would be completely in the toilet.
It might be too late, but this will be the week to do it too, because they're on bye. So you're like, there's no chance he's even questionable of playing in a game this week if that guy needs this win. And we're hitting a point now where if you are 4-5 or 5-5, you need to start winning out. That's what your focus is right now.
Yes, and that's exactly it. It's like in both of those leagues, I'm just hovering around the center, and it's like, I don't want to hover here. Like, I either need to like take a big shot or not. Like, I can't wait any longer for this. Like, I need to win now, because I might not be in the playoff.
Shane, you lost that trade. Just
Yeah,
let
I
you
was
know.
about to say, you don't want to lose.
But who are some players that you would take for Barkley, Tony?
I don't know that he lost that trade, Shane. Who are some players that I would take for Barkley?
Brandon Cooks and Melvin Gordon.
Who's in that?
He got Tom Brady, Brandon Cooks, and Melvin Gordon, and he gave up Eckler and CEH.
I would look at like.
They're not all 16-team leagues, Tony. Like the 10th best quarterback.
Oh, my bad. He won that trade. I thought he was getting Eckler and CEH. No, he won that trade.
How did he win that trade?
He's getting Tom Brady.
He's getting one guy that's going to be for sure solid, and then 2 maybes.
Eckler's
for 2
crap.
starters.
CEH is crap.
Starting running backs. And I do agree CEH is trash, but he's going to at least be the starting running back of his team.
Anyways, players that you would take for Barkley right now, Tony. If somebody sent you a trade for Barkley, who would you take right now?
Van Jefferson and Noah Fant.
Would you take Brandon Cooks?
And Brandon Cooks.
No, I'd probably want to get a running back if I'm giving up Barkley. I would look at like maybe check in on Elijah Mitchell, James Conner. I would definitely.
So you would do Elijah Mitchell straight up for Barkley?
I need somebody who's playing right now. Like, I need to know more about the Elijah Mitchell injury. Like, I'm just going through and like literally looking at players. Like, I would definitely take Darrell Henderson, Leonard Fournette. I would take. I need people who are playing. Like, Saquon Barkley hasn't played for me in weeks. Like, I need somebody who's going to play right now. So like, I would consider that trade. And if somebody else wants to take on the Saquon Barkley risk, then that's fine for me. Obviously, if I have to keep him, that's good. In leagues where I'm like right now 6-3 or 7-2, I might try and trade, and I would acquire the risk of Saquon Barkley. But at 4-5 and on the fringe of not making the playoffs, I could use Leonard Fournette this weekend. I will tell you that right now. I am starting Darrell Williams in one of the leagues. I'm starting. I was lucky enough to pick up Mark Ingram off of waivers, but how long is that going to last? Like I don't have anybody to play in these situations. Like
I think the market. You and I, and I've told Mike, I've told you guys in our group chat, the Saints are hiding the Alvin Kamara injury, and they're downplaying it, and they're not making it bigger. And everything I've read on it, it's a bad injury. And every of those fantasy doctors and stuff, every one of them is saying it's not just ankle, it's knee as well. And for the Saints to just hold him out of practice and just continue to go, and they knew when they brought Mark Ingram in that this injury was going to affect AK. But, nobody listens to me when I always said, fade the Saints, Tony. Fade the Saints.
Who are you, the football counselor? You're fading because of injuries now?
Oh,
well, I'm just saying fade the Saints at all costs. Like I've been saying it before.
Now. The Saints are absolutely screwed.
But if you lose AK, oh hell, really?
The Saints are done.
Now?
They're done. The season's over.
I'm not saying fade AK because of the injury. I'm saying fade the whole team because once he's gone, oh shit.
That's it. They're losing. They're losing the rest of their games.
When Jameson went down, like Winston, like we all weren't high on Winston, but when he went down, it was like, oh great, here we go.
Phillip Rivers is going to be in that uniform.
Trevor Siemian torched him.
Trevor Siemian!
I think the chances are a lot less that they bring Rivers in now because they'd probably feel like they have no shot after that if AK is done.
Well, the team's identity is still going to be defense. Like it was going into that, and you have Cam Jordan, you have Demario Davis and Jenkins. Like they're still going to play that. We're still going to play defense and run the football. I have high hopes for Mark Ingram this weekend. I am starting him in I think 2 or 3 leagues.
The big problem is that they're going to need their defense to win 13 to 10 games. I don't know if they're that amazing. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
He likes.
I'm not the one changing them. Same old. I'll tell you that right now. You want to go to receivers, Tony?
Yeah, let's do it.
I got my guys up here, and can you tell which team I root for? Because I got 2 Chargers on 2 different graphics. I got Keenan Allen in the middle. He's my biggest target. Good luck getting him, though, because he's now going to start going off. And I think whoever owns him probably realizes that he's now going to start going off. I guess maybe if they're in a position like Tony's saying where they really want to shake up their team because Keenan's been disappointing to this point, I could see him being on some 4-5 or even 3-6 teams right now just because he's been a little bit disappointing if you trust him to be your wide receiver 1. But it's coming, I think. And you're going to start seeing those classic PPR. That's why he's in the top 10 every year. PPR 11 reception, 100-yard games. That's what he does. And Justin Herbert knows it. Keenan Allen knows it. The defense knows it. And no one can stop it. And the 2 other guys that are a little bit underrated that people probably aren't thinking about too much. Elijah Moore starting to break out a little bit. Me and Tony were talking about his connection with both Mike White and Johnson. It's starting to seem like Elijah Moore is just a really good receiver. And all the quarterbacks that are playing for the Jets are starting to go to him. He may be a solid flex play down the stretch. And then Antonio Brown. Yes, Mike Evans is amazing. Yes, Chris Godwin's amazing. Scotty Miller's coming back. But with all those guys on the field, you know who Tom Brady loves to go to? Number 81. And I've been trying to acquire Antonio Brown this week, and I have not had much success because it seems like his owners know what's about to happen when he gets back on the field. The Bucs almost do this intentionally, it seems like. Like Gronk put on ice for most of the year. AB put on ice for most of the year. Just conveniently, they're both going to come back right before they're about to go to the playoffs.
Oh, it hurts me. It hurts me, but I like all of those players. The Elijah Moore one is, I don't know that I would be acquiring Elijah Moore on a team for the playoffs, though. Like, I just don't know the consistency. But the other 2, for sure, I would be targeting them.
Yeah, I don't agree with Elijah Moore.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now this.
Yeah.
The youth movement, we will call this right here. Darnell Mooney is the favorite target of a bad passing game. I guess it's like the nicest way to say what's going on in Chicago. He continually is looking for him 8-9 times a game. Jalen Waddle, again, the main focus in that offense. We saw it again as in the target department. There was one nice downfield catch against the Ravens there. And Jerry Jeudy played in the first game or second game back or whatever, played a lot in the slot right there. And I think if that is where that stays, where they keep Patrick and Sutton on the outside, Jerry Jeudy is going to get a lot of high floor games where he's getting you 12 points. And if he gets in the end zone on some of these, like he could have a nice run. Also, I think it was, I forgot now, but I think I picked Jeudy based on playoff schedule. I put him in there too. And the same thing with Jalen Waddle. So I like to look at that, like opportunities for either like shootout type games or they're playing, like in a situation where they're going to get a lot of easy targets every week, or just force fed the ball because who is it? Komet, Allen Robinson has a hamstring injury now. Like if he comes back from the bye comes back and he can't play, it makes me feel even that much better that the choices are between Marquise Godwin and Darnell Mooney. Like I'll take Mooney in that scenario. I almost had Hunter Renfrow on this list. It was very close because they have 4 wide receivers in Vegas.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's tough with ankle sprains, especially because you don't know exactly how well he's healed from it or not. So we'll see with Jerry Jeudy. If healthy, I think he's going to be a viable wide receiver too. But I would probably safe side it if you're going between him and Renfrow. Probably go with Renfrow. I like the other two. The other two, especially Waddle. He's been balling this year.
Waddle's quarterback proof.
Jamar Chase has kind of been shadowing how good Waddle's been this year.
I think Waddle's like he's leading in receptions, obviously, because it's so short. But I'm looking at it, and his target count is over 6 in every game since like week 4 or 5, and even before that. So like only one game has he had less than 5 targets, and that was against Indianapolis. But his playoff schedule is the Jets, New Orleans, and the Titans. Now, the Titans and the Saints have played good defense, but you're not going to be able to run the ball against New Orleans. Your run game is going to be short passes to Jalen Waddle in that game. And then in the Titans, if you are playing in a game where like that pass rush is getting after you, again, short passes to Jalen Waddle are going to be your friend. So I like him, his playoff schedule for Jalen Waddle. Could be nice. All 3 of those players. And those are all players I think you can acquire. That's the other thing too. It's like they're good flex options for you if you don't necessarily have that on your roster right now.
You don't got to cut off any fingers.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, Jalen Waddle is quarterback proof. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is for Miami. They're both finding him. If it's Brissett, if it's Tua, they're finding him. And that's what you want to look at because when some of these other targets, you're like, all right, who's going to play quarterback this week? Okay, like Mike Gesicki. He's not quarterback proof for the Miami Dolphins, right? But Jalen Waddle has been. So that's what I like about Jalen Waddle. And I just looked it up, 60 receptions on the year. 60 receptions. That's 60 points. 63 points from a rookie wide receiver.
Yeah. He's like 28 above the next closest rookie or 26 above.
Yeah, Jamar Chase has 43. So that's what?
17?
And the way his style is, I think he's going to continue that. He's going to continue that for his whole career, possibly, if he can stay healthy. It's awesome. QB's next. We got it all out.
Yeah, let's do this comment from SWAT. Let's do this comment. They just jumped in here. Traded JT, Russell, and Elijah for Cook.
Assuming it's Mahomes and D-Hop. Yeah, I think you won that. I don't know. That's tough. JT is about to go off. It just depends on Cook. Cook's the turn or not. This week, Cook's probably going to go off.
Yeah, I think that there's a little bit of risk with Cook because of the off the field stuff.
Exactly.
That's the thing that scares me is like if the
Go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
Right now it's just civil, but if it goes to criminal, then he automatically goes on the commissioner's exempt list, like that fast. Like, it's not like, oh, he gets a chance to prove it. It's once the criminal charges are filed. That was the report that I read. He would be placed on the commissioner's exempt list, whether he's guilty or not. So they just don't even take that. The reason that Watson hasn't is because they're all civil. There's been no criminal filed against him. So he's not ending up on the commissioner's exempt list. But I think there's a little bit of risk in that. But I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he's got to turn it around. Like, it's just, I don't see how that this can continue to be average. It's Patrick Mahomes, and he's been average. Sometimes worse than that.
I have a talk with Mikey.
And what about D-Hop? I mean, we're not even talking about D-Hop. Like, in years past, we were like, Cooks, Mahomes, and D-Hop, you're crazy. Who the hell would trade all three of them? And now we're like, okay, we can see it. But, like, even D-Hop hasn't been the Hopkins that we're used to. And is he even going to play this weekend too?
I don't think he's playing, the last report that I read. But I'll say this. The other reason that I don't cherish D-Hop as much as everybody else, because they're 5 deep. Like, at all times, whatever they rotate in or out, like Christian Kirk is viable to get passes. They put Wesley, some guy I've never heard of, in the Hopkins role, and they targeted Wesley more than they ever targeted DeAndre Hopkins, because nobody gives Wesley the respect they're giving DeAndre, obviously. And then you have the backfield where things are viable there. We're not seeing as much of the running game from Kyler Murray, but still, like, you bring in Zach Ertz, you're going to throw him the football. You're going to, like, AJ Green comes back. There's just, you can diversify your portfolio of pass catching options, which is why I don't love DeAndre Hopkins as much. And I think next year people are going to be able to get DeAndre Hopkins in like 3rd, 4th round of some drafts.
It's going to be really awkward now, and it has been awkward this entire time you guys have been talking. I've been this close to the camera because my comment was about the Mahomes comment earlier. But yeah, all those things about D-Hop and Cook are true. I agree with both of you. But the whole thing about Mahomes returning to form eventually, I have a feeling he's going to return very...
Yeah, let me guess. Tomorrow night, he's going to return.
Like, within the next 48 hours, potentially.
And it's already been out there, and Raider fans have already said this. If the Raiders win tomorrow, they're going to be like, oh, the Raiders beat a depleted Chiefs team.
Whoa. If. No, don't no ifs.
And if the Chiefs win, they're going to be like, oh, the Chiefs are back. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are back. That's what's going to happen tomorrow. So if the Chiefs win, they're going to blow the Chiefs up. If the Raiders win, they're going to say, well, it's because the Chiefs suck. So we'll see.
I don't want to hear
Raiders are winning that. Raiders are winning that game.
Very confidently about how bad the Chiefs are and how great
I'm telling you, the Raiders are winning that game.
Now. Okay.
Raiders are coming and winning that game, but I already know where you're at on it.
Oh, no,
I think I need to see how it looks.
Don't act like I flip-flopped any opinions.
If you have Tyreek Hill on your team, you're not playing tomorrow.
I came out my mama's womb, and I was crying like a little baby, and the doctor looked at me and said, why is he got face paint that says fuck the Raiders on his cheek?
Then the doctor turned you over and said, hey, look, twins.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. All right. That was fun.
Anthony Coleman, with the injury to Robert Woods, OBJ looks like he went to the right spot.
I'm rolling all over my Cam Newton jersey before I'm about to give a Cam Newton shout out. Oh, man. Anyways, here's the QBs. Moving on to the quarterbacks. We're getting close to an hour here. I don't have Cam Newton on here as like a potential guy you go and trade for, maybe get him on waiver wire, or if someone did pick him up already, give, something small to go get him. It's a personal preference thing because I like to not play with 2 quarterbacks all year, but right before my playoff push, I pick a guy and I go, if my quarterback goes down, knock on wood, I hope it doesn't happen, this is my guy. And I think Cam Newton's going to come in and put up some fancy points rushing the ball late in the season here as defenses get a little bit more tired, and he's fresh. He's been resting for almost a year, like we were saying. And as far as trading for quarterbacks, if you can get the guy to let go of Russell Wilson after waiting that long for him to come back, Russell Wilson's going to be a top 10 guy again, and Matty Ice is sneaking into that top 10 as well. Both those guys are pretty self-explanatory. You want to have at least top 10 numbers every week of your playoffs from your quarterbacks. And also, I put Cam Newton there because I like all of Tony's guys. Like, that's one of those guys is who I would have put there. Anyways.
All right. I forgot who my guys are, but I'm sure I'll be reminded of them momentarily.
Violating
Yes, this old trio here. As I said before, I like the Philadelphia playoff schedule because you get to pass against that Washington football team twice, which is great. The Broncos also have a pretty decent playoff schedule. And Teddy Bridgewater has been fairly consistent, right? And he got back Jerry Jeudy. Noah Fant will be in there. Like, this is good pass catching backs in Gordon and Williams. So I think that the team is going to try and make a push at the playoffs. They looked really great against the Cowboys. I don't think that was a fluke. I don't think that was the Cowboys underestimating them. I think they can play good, capable football. So like that. And then Ryan Tannehill, this is going to turn into a little bit more of a passing offense, I believe. Like, I think they're going to start to open it up a little bit. And if Julio can get on the field and stay healthy, and A.J. Brown getting the ball, in the passing game to McNichols, I think we're going to maybe need to see a little bit more running option reads down inside the goal line too, which are touchdown opportunities for Tannehill because he can move. So I think we're going to be seeing some sort of QB options down inside the 5 without Derrick Henry.
Go get
That's what we've been missing from Tannehill.
Exactly. Yeah. Go get you some Teddy B if you're desperate.
Yeah, I'm desperate. I have Teddy B starting for me.
You're that desperate? Like,
some people might be.
I don't know. I still don't buy the Teddy B. I understand.
I think it's tough in any league smaller, like 10 or lower. You're probably not even going to think about Teddy B. But once you get to 12, and if you're in a 16-team league, it's an option.
Well, let's say that you
probably pick him up on free agency.
Okay, once you get past
whoever has hurt probably won't be letting him go for too cheap.
Once you get past QB 8, let's say you're in a 12-man league, and then you might be starting Cousins, Hurts, Wilson, Rodgers, so then now those guys are cementing in the top 10. Joe Burrow, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan. I think that if you are starting one of those guys in between the 11 and 10 spot, I think having a couple QBs that you can rotate based on your matchup is a good opportunity. If you've been starting Matt Ryan, why not? Look at his schedule. See if there's a week there where somebody matches up where you could be putting in a plus matchup. Kirk Cousins, the same deal. He's been good, but also maybe Kirk Cousins plays a Monday Night Football game.
Yeah.
I don't want him there.
And I think more so, even if you're looking at guys like Teddy Bridgewater on a team or guys like Matt Ryan, say you have Tom Brady and your team's around 500, or you just need to kind of mix things up, send a trade out for a receiver and one of those quarterbacks and take a shot at it, man. I mean, that might be what you got to do.
Yep.
Love it.
On an average points per game, Teddy is not even in the top 15. Right?
Yeah. So you could probably get him he's probably on free agency in most leagues. In our league,
I would think he is.
In our league, no.
His playoff schedule is the Lions, the Bengals, both coming to Denver. Week 16, the Raiders. Week 17, the Chargers.
Yeah,
I think there's an opportunity for Teddy to have. I know the Chargers have been relatively good against the pass, but I don't necessarily think that is only because they're so good at defending the pass for the Chargers. I think it's because the rush defense is so bad.
Well, now I'm about to go drop Cam Newton as my emergency quarterback and pick up Teddy Bridgewater. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate the advice. In a good way. I think appreciate the advice, not being sarcastic.
I think that for me, picking up Cam Newton is strictly a nostalgic thing. It's nostalgia for you and coming online at the perfect time. Ooh, are we getting a Terminator finish here, or what's happening?
What is that?
This is how I'm about to be rolling up to this Vikings game.
I'm in for it. All right, I got nothing left. Burnt out.
Yeah, me too. That's why I started yelling. That's kind of my resort when I get burnt out.
Welcome back, Joe Morley. Mike on the mic. Tony Tucker here for the Speakeasy. Anything else?
Here. Not Tony Tucker here. That's good timing.
That one's been up for a minute here. The chump is here. Okay, I'm trying to trade. You're always trying to trade. Same old.
I got J-Rob. You want to send it to me? Same old. I'll
Yeah,
invite you to my league just so you can trade for J-Rob, buddy.
Tomorrow morning, I'll be here.
That means
wake up, fantasy football
great.
wake up call. 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We appreciate all of you sitting in here with us. Cue up that musical video and let's zoom out in on Joe's face and play the music.
Good night.
The Warzone Sports Network presents the Fantasy Football Speakeasy.